Namaste.
Namaste.
Hello and welcome to another insightful episode of Delhi Dehradun Expressway. I'm your host Deepika Upadhyay. Today, we turn our focus to one of India's most anticipated infrastructure milestone, the Delhi Dehradun Expressway, set to open to the public on the 14th of April 2026. This transformative project is not just about reducing travel time between Delhi and Dehradun. It represents a large story of innovation in planning, financing, and sustainable infrastructure development. To help us unpack the multiple dimensions of this project, I am delighted to welcome Dr. Naresh Bana, a distinguished infrastructure and public private partnership expert with extensive experience in infrastructure financing and policy. Welcome, Dr. Bana. Dr. Bana, let's begin by understanding the foundation of this ambitious project. To begin with, could you provide a brief overview of the Delhi Dehradun Expressway, which is scheduled to open to the public on 14th of April 2026?
Certainly, Deepika ji. The Delhi Dehradun Expressway is a landmark greenfield access controlled expressway designed to significantly enhance connectivity between the national capital, Delhi, and the state capital of Uttarakhand, that is Dehradun, spanning roughly 210 kilometers. And the project significantly reduces the current travel time of almost 6 hours to 2.5 hours, which is a massive improvement in regional mobility. It has taken about 6 years to come to this stage as it stands to be opened to the public, as you said, on 14th April. The expressway originates from Delhi, passes through parts of Uttar Pradesh, western side, and enters Uttarakhand, integrating multiple urban, semi-urban nodes. It's a 6 lane, extendable to 8 lanes at places, and high-speed corridor equipped with modern features such as intelligent traffic control system, wayside amenities, wildlife crossings, and advanced safety infrastructure. What distinguishes this project is not just speed but sustainability. You would be delighted to know that it includes Asia's longest elevated wildlife corridor through the Rajaji National Park and extensive use of eco-sensitive construction techniques. The expressway is expected to boost tourism, facilitate logistics, and enhance socio-economic integration across the regions. Overall, it's a classic example of next generation infrastructure, faster, safer, and more environment sensitive.
So, now let's talk about planning and procurement. Could you walk us through how this project was conceptualized, planned, and procured? Additionally, does it follow a public private partnership model?
Very rightly asked. See, this Delhi Dehradun Expressway was very meticulously planned considering the requirement, and it was planned under Bharatmala Pariyojana, which focuses on improving freight and passenger movement across the India. The alignment was selected after detailed feasibility studies, including traffic projections, environment impact assessment, and socio-economic evaluations, as it is done for almost all projects. In terms of procurement, the project was divided into various packages and awarded primarily under EPC, that is engineering, procurement, and construction model. So, to answer your question, it's not a classic PPP project, just like you may have understood BOT projects, build, operate, transfer, or hybrid annuity model. Instead, it's a publicly funded with private sector participation limited to construction based on the tender which is awarded to them. PPP was actually not adopted due to high ecological risks, uncertain timelines, and other difficulties of land acquisition and traffic or revenue predictability. So the choice of EPC was strategic. Given the environmentally sensitive zones and complex clearances, the government preferred to take all these risks and award it under EPC. Therefore, this project reflects a calibrated procurement approach, aligning delivery model with project risk. So, primarily, where the risk cannot be assumed by the private party, government has taken it on themselves and gone for EPC.
So, moving ahead, now I would like you to throw some light on financial structuring and bankability. From a financing perspective, how has the project been made bankable, and what are the key mechanisms through which its construction has been funded?
That's an insightful question. See, in traditional PPP projects, the word bankability is used to refer to the project's viability when a private party brings investment, how that money will get repaid to the banks and some profit can be generated. But in this case, it's executed under the EPC model, and the bankability is shifts from private financing to the public financing, right? So this is primarily a budgetary allocation of Government of India, supplemented by borrowings raised by NHAI, typically through instruments such as taxable bonds, infrastructure bonds, and loans from multilateral institutions by NHAI. And the total estimated cost of this expressway is approximately 13,000 crores, and which, when it started, was almost 2 billion US dollars, and now it's about, because the rupee has depreciated, you can say it's about 1.3 billion dollars. And it's fully borne by NHAI. The role of state government is limited to facilitate land acquisition and providing various clearances, and a whole lot of support is needed for utility shifting. So they have provided that. And additionally, the tolling rights on operational highways across the NHAI network often provide a revenue base that indirectly supports such projects. So NHAI will be levying some tolls on this, which will go into its kitty. And the project is, when you say, there is another angle of bankability, that is the economic internal rate of return. So it is bankable in broader economic sense, right? Because by reducing the travel time significantly, it reduces fuel consumption, it enhances the economic activity alongside, and it's like a transit oriented development. It reduces logistic costs and enhances tourism and regional development.
So, talking about the construction challenges in eco sensitive zones, given that the expressway passes through the Rajaji National Park, what were the key construction challenges encountered, and what innovations or highlights stands out in addressing them?
Indeed, one of the most complex aspects of this project was its alignment through the Rajaji National Park, an ecologically sensitive zone known for its rich biodiversity, including elephants and other wildlife. You will be delighted that for many kilometers you would be traveling over the rivulets or the streams, which are otherwise dry, but they uh, drain out during monsoons and the rainy season. And the primary challenge was balancing infrastructure development with ecological preservation, strict environmental clearances, and construction activities had to be controlled and adhere to rigorous guidelines. Any disruption to wildlife movement could have had long term ecological consequences. To address this, engineers designed Asia's longest elevated wildlife corridor. So, entire, I would say, most of the travel in the Rajaji National Park is over elevated viaducts. And with that, there is enough space below that for wildlife to move from one side to other. And this allows uh, not only free movement of animals, but for total flora and fauna. And construction timing was also regulated to minimize disturbance during critical wildlife movement, and noise and light pollution control were also exercised, and tree cutting was minimized with compensatory afforestation measures. Overall, this segment stands out as a model of environmentally responsible construction, demonstrating that infrastructure and ecology can coexist when thoughtfully designed and meticulously executed.
So, talking about operational and environmental considerations, as the project traverses an environmentally sensitive zone, what operational challenges do you foresee, and what precautions should motorists take while using this corridor?
Very important. See, operationally, the biggest challenge is ensuring that high speed traffic does not disrupt or disturb the fragile ecosystem of the national park. Even with elevated corridors and wildlife crossings, such as noise disturbance, light intrusion, and accidental animal crossing remain. To mitigate these risks, strict regulations are likely to be enforced in eco-sensitive stretches, and we have intelligent traffic management system. There are surveillance cameras and automated enforcement mechanism, like you have online challans, will play a key role in ensuring compliance. So motorists will have to be regulated very strictly, and they must exercise heightened responsibility. Honking should be avoided, and night driving should be done with low beam lights wherever advised. And stopping on the expressway should be totally a no-no, particularly in forest stretches, and there should not be any littering, and emergencies should be handled with the pre-decided SOPs, and public awareness is very important here. Signages and digital alerts will be helping to educate drivers about ecological sensitivities and their responsibilities. In essence, while infrastructure provides convenience, to sustain the use, that it depends on the users, the commuters, the motorists, and their responsible behavior is expected. So motorists are the key stakeholders in preserving the delicate balance between the development and the nature.
So, now talking about economic impact, what are the anticipated economic benefits of this project for the state of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand?
Deepika ji, there are three states, not two, involved: Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. All three are going to reap significant economic benefits due to the operationalization of this expressway. And in addition to the reduction in travel time, the most beneficial state would be Uttarakhand, where the remote areas and the tourist places like Masuri and Haridwar and Rishikesh will have more footfalls and more travel. For Uttar Pradesh, particularly the western districts, with this improved connectivity, will see a boost in the industrial development, logistics efficiency, and real estate growth. It will facilitate faster movement of goods, reducing transportation costs, and improving supply chain efficiency and reliability. In Uttarakhand, the expressway is likely to improve access to remote areas, as I said, and it will encourage investment in various sectors like ecotourism, agro processing, small scale industries. It's also likely to enhance access to healthcare and educational services. Employment generation has happened during the construction. It will continue to boost due to the enhanced economic activity alongside, and it will act as a spine for future urbanization and economic clusters, like I kept talking about transit oriented development in our last podcast. So, overall, it's an economic enabler that integrates regions, unlocks potential, and drives inclusive and sustainable growth.
So, finally, talking about the key learnings, finally, what key lessons does this project offers for future infrastructure development, particularly in terms of sustainability, financing, and execution?
Yes, every project has many lessons, and so is this project. The first one is that context sensitive project structuring has been undertaken, where it was more prudent to go for an EPC mode of construction. It has been adopted rather than awarding the project on private participation and facing delays and disruptions. Secondly, the integrating of sustainable construction practices and sustainable operational design. That is going to be helpful not only to the motorists but to preserve the flora and fauna and total ecology of the region. The stakeholder coordination, because there were multiple agencies involved. There were environmental authorities, there were the forest department, local administration, municipalities, and a multitude of agencies which had to be coordinated and to ensure that utilities are shifted to the construction is facilitated. So all that happened, and our Gati Shakti and other platforms played a important role in that. The technology adoption is another lesson where smart and intelligent traffic management system has been adopted for not only access control but for uh, controlling the speed or the behavior of the motorists or the users. And then there is long term economic thinking. Considering the huge capital cost involved, the government decided to develop this project because overall it's going to be beneficial for the economy of the region, the impacted or the like I mentioned, it will be like a spine of the development. So, like a transit oriented corridor. So, the overall economic benefits are there, they have been well appreciated, and the project has been constructed. So, when I sum it up, I say that Delhi Dehradun Expressway sets a benchmark for future projects, demonstrating how speed, sustainability, and strategic planning can come together to create world class infrastructure.
Thank you, Dr. Bana, for those incredibly insightful perspective on the Delhi Dehradun Expressway. For our listeners, the key takeaway is this: infrastructure today is as much about intelligent planning and partnership as it is about engineering excellence. Until next time, this is Deepika Upadhyay signing off, bringing you conversations that drive impact and insight. Namaste.
Namaste.